Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Russell Matthews here, and it's no question that there are more people right now facing a tough financial situation than any other time in recent memory. With increased unemployment numbers and hundreds of thousands of Canadians who have reduced hours right now, it's definitely putting a strain on people's wallets. That's why we've seen so many people applying for these new benefits, the CRB, the Canada Recovery Benefit, the CRSB, the CRCB. They're all helping to support people through this tough financial time. And that's why right now it's more important than ever to educate yourself about some personal finance topics so that you can sort your way through this challenging time. And one of the most glaring problems with people's finances is their personal credit card debt. And despite the fact that we've seen a huge increase in the amount that Canadians are saving, when these benefits end, I really think that this savings rate is going to go down because most of these savings are coming from people who are able to use some of these CRB or the CERB benefits to pay down some debt and put some money away. But let's face it, right now you're probably thinking that I'm about to tell you, hey, you should never use a credit card. This is a bad idea. It's going to put you in the hole in the future. And while that might be true in some cases, today I'm going to talk about how you can actually make money using credit cards instead of using your debit cards that you may be using right now. But it's a very specific and specialized way that you can use them that's going to take credit cards from something that are a problem for you to something that can be used to help you. So in today's video, we're going to go over that strategy, talk about my recommendations for how to actually implement this strategy, and how you can use credit cards to save you money and to make you money. But before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, hey, how's it going? It's nice to meet you. My name is Russell, and on this channel, I post videos about Canadians and their money with the overall goal of getting information to you as quickly as possible and as accurately as possible so that you can set yourselves up to live a better financial future. If that sounds like something you'd be into, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and while you're down there, click that like button because it helps spread this video to people who could be looking for this information. With certain groups of people, just bringing up credit cards and credit card debt will automatically trigger anxiety and a little bit of fear. And that makes sense. So many people across the country use their credit cards in the wrong way, putting them into a poor financial situation, as opposed to using it in the correct way, which will actually increase their savings and increase the money that they can make, save, and invest. Now, if you take away one thing from this video, and only one thing, I want it to be that you should never spend money on your credit card that you can't automatically pay off right away. The interest rates that you're charged when you have a balance on your credit card are some of the highest interest rates that you can get in any kind of lending. And when you don't pay off your credit card, that balance keeps on going up and up and up because of this super high interest rate. So when you make a purchase with your credit card, I recommend you immediately pay it off by going to your online banking account and transferring money from your checking account to pay off your credit card. Well, people will say, Russell, come on, that's a whole bunch of extra work that I don't usually have to do. Why don't I just pay it from my debit account, like using my debit card, instead of using my credit card and just sort of skip over that credit card process entirely? Well, now, my friends, is where we're getting into what I'm really passionate about, which is how you can make money by using credit cards. And this is where, if you're watching this video, you're going to have a leg up on other people because you're going to know how to optimize your use of your credit card to not cost you money, but to make you money. Now, there are basically two ways that you can make money with credit cards. The first one is through welcome bonuses and promotional offers, and the second one is through rewards points or cash back that's often tied to these credit cards. Now, that first category of these welcome bonuses, while it can be good, I wouldn't recommend choosing a credit card based on this welcome bonus because oftentimes if they have a large welcome bonus, they actually don't have the best long-term rates or the long-term bonuses that you can get from it. So we're going to focus more on the rewards and the cash back that's on certain credit cards and how you can use that to optimize your credit card spending. Now, when it comes to rewards, not all are created equally. You've probably heard of credit cards that pay in reward miles or Aventura points or any other kind of these constructed reward systems. Now, while some of these systems can be good, I generally recommend focusing more on the cashback side of things because it's a lot more clear what you're getting and you don't have to do these advanced calculations on how much a point is worth and how to best spend your points to suck out the most value. With the cash back cards, you'll get a certain amount of your spending back every single time. And while there are a lot of cash back or money back credit cards, by far my favorite in terms of the rate it pays me back is the Tangerine Money-Back Credit Card. Now, the base rate of money that it gives you back on every purchase is only 0.5%, which isn't that good. That means on a $100 purchase, you would only get 50 cents back in cash. But there's something very unique about this card. It gives you the ability to select 3 categories of spending in which you'll receive 2% cash back on, which is actually a very high rate when it comes to these types of cards. And as an added bonus, there's no fee for this credit card. You'll run across some credit cards that you have to pay an annual fee of $100, $150, $200 just to have this credit card and get those rewards. And with those cards, it doesn't really make sense unless you're spending a lot. But with this this Tangerine card, you have that $0 yearly fee, and you don't need to use it at all if you don't want to, or you can use it however much you want to. Now, this increase from 0.5% to 2% doesn't seem like a lot when you're looking at small amounts of money, right? We used that $100 example before where you'd only get 50 cents. Hey, now you'd get $2 back from that $100. It doesn't seem all that great to get a toonie back for a $100 purchase. But if you choose your categories correctly and use that 2% every single time you make a purchase, then all of a sudden, let's say your monthly spending is $1,000. Quickly that $2 from $100 becomes $20. And if you do the same thing over the course of a year, that $20 becomes $240 when saved across the year. And remember, that's $240 that you got for essentially doing nothing but using this card instead of using a debit card. If you stick around to the end of the video, we're going to talk about how you can grow this $240 all the way to over $3,000. And that's when you'll start to see that doing these sort of small things to save can have a huge impact. But it all comes down to selecting the proper categories for you. I mean, if you're not selecting a category that you actually use, you're not getting that 2% back. So let's take a closer look at how you can select these categories so that you can get the optimal results from your credit card use. So after you've applied for this credit card and you are able to create an account and get in here, it gives you these options for choosing the categories. Now you'll see here there's one that says choose 2% money back categories, and there's one that says choose 2% money back categories. Now if you don't have a Tangerine checkings or savings account, you can only choose 2 of these 2% categories. But if you open up a savings account or a checkings account, you can go into this 2% money back categories, and that sort of just opens up your options on what you'll get this additional cash back on. Now, when we scroll down, we can see the actual categories, and you can see the ones that I've chosen. So you can choose between groceries, furniture, restaurants, hotel, motel, gas, recurring bills, drugstore, home improvement, entertainment, and parking. So these are the categories that you can choose, and when you choose 2 or 3 of these, those will be the categories that you get 2% on instead of the base 0.5% that you get paid on money back. So you'll want to choose the categories that you personally spend the most on. If you spend the most on groceries and gas and recurring bills, those are the 3 that you're going to want to select so that you get the most bang for your buck when it comes to the money back. For me, I chose restaurant, home improvement, and entertainment because these are the categories that I didn't already have a credit card that was giving me rewards for. So I have a couple other rewards cards that will give me money back or give me some sort of rewards for these other categories. So I sort of just use this card to fill in the blanks. But if this is your first rewards card, you're definitely going to want to choose the categories you spend the most money on. And to prove how much of a nerd I am, and as a recommendation to you on how to keep which categories you've selected on your mind, I like to label the back of my credit cards with what the rewards actually are so I can remember which cards are giving me which benefits. That way I always know which credit card to use to get the most points for whatever category I'm spending in. So you'll remember I chose the restaurants, home improvement, and entertainment category, and that's exactly what I labeled this card with, if you can see it apart from that reflection. There it is. And this little sticky note is just to keep the numbers from being public. Definitely wouldn't recommend sharing your credit card information on a YouTube video. If you don't already know which categories you spend the most money on, I recommend using either a spreadsheet to keep track of all of your spending, but if you don't have the time to do that, in the past I've used something called mint.com, and that's a website that you can use to track all your spending, and it automatically categorizes it. So if you're using that service, you can go in there and go in through your transactions, and it'll actually make a nice little pie graph so you can see, oh, I'm actually spending the most on groceries and gas and eating out, so like entertainment or like restaurants. So using that, you can take a look at that graph and find out which categories are best for you to select to get the most money back. Now you remember we talked about how much money this can save you over the course of the year. If you're spending $1,000 a month and you're getting 2% cash back, that's $240 at the end of the year that you saved just from using this method. Now initially $240 doesn't seem that exciting, but the trick is when you're able to save this money, you're able to invest it. And when you invest this money, it can grow exponentially. Now this is an investment calculator that I like to use to see how small sums of money can make a big impact over time. If we go in here to the starting amount, we'll say we're going to invest that $240 that we saved, and we're going to do that for 10 years. And every year we're going to put in that same $240. Our spending doesn't change. We make the same amount from the cash back, and we're going to put that $240 in at the end of the year. Now I like to use a 7% return rate because this tends to be the average of an index fund in the stock market over time. And if you don't know much about index fund investing, it's the best set it and forget it investment strategy, and I have a video on it, so you can check that out in the description. So at that 7%, which is a pretty attainable rate, and with the $240 put in every year from these savings, we'll calculate after 10 years, that's going to be $3,788 that you'll have made just from using this cashback credit card strategy. If we bump that up to 20 years of using this strategy, oh wow, that bumps it up a lot to $10,000, over $10,000 just from using this basic strategy. But the trick is taking this money that you're saving, that you get cash back into your account, and immediately investing it, leaving it there, and just forgetting about it. And that's when those really small sort of tweaks to your lifestyle can make huge changes for the future, right? Like, how much is $10,000 going to help you 20 years from now? Maybe not a lot, but maybe it's going to make a big difference for you. And if you do this on top of other investment strategies, then that can set you up for a better financial future. But I do have one downside and one warning that I really want to talk to you guys about. It's really important to know yourself when it comes to the way that you handle money and your general financial habits. If you're somebody who knows that no matter what, if you have a credit card, you're going to spend it to the max every month and may not be able to pay it down, this strategy isn't for you. Now, if you're watching this video and you've made it this far, chances are you're above average when it comes to planning and thinking about your future and your money. My hope would be that you're already doing this, and if you're not, that you're going to take my number one tip, and that's to not carry a balance on your credit card, because these interest rates are pretty ridiculous and you can quickly dig yourself a financial hole if you leave a credit card balance on there every single month. So this strategy is not possible if you don't think that you have the self-control not to spend to the max every single month. For this to work and for this to make sense, you need to make sure you're only spending money on your credit card that you can transfer over immediately from your savings or checking account to pay it off quickly, so that you can just use the cash back gains instead of having to deal with the interest rates that you're charged for carrying a balance. If that's something that you can do and that you're confident that you can take this financial step and improve your life by being more conscious about these things, then I really recommend using this strategy. You've already seen how much of a nerd I am labeling all my credit cards so I can get the optimal cash back, and every single month when I see how much cash back I've saved, I transfer that directly to my investment account, and that's going to set me up for the future. There you have it. That's how you can optimize your credit card use so that it goes from being this scary thing that's going to put you in a bad place to this positive thing that's going to make you tons of money over time. But I really want to know what you have to say about all this. Are you of the Dave Ramsey sort of school of thought, thinking all credit is bad, you should pay everything off as quickly as you can and cut up your credit cards and never use them again? Or do you take a more measured approach and recognize that there are some benefits to using credit cards, and when used carefully, they can be a huge help in your financial future? Either way, good idea, bad idea, let me know down in the comments. And while you're down there, make sure to click the like button, because when you do, it spreads the video to more people who could be looking for this information, and it could have a big impact on their lives. And of course, if you haven't already done so, if you found any value in this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, because I'm bringing updates like this all the time that could help you and your family save some money and set yourselves up for the long term. And with all of that said, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I really hope this video has helped you out, especially in this challenging financial time, and I'll see you next time.